let's discuss some news. This Felipe Massa. It's 2008 again, baby. We're in high school. Kanye West is still one of our favorite artists.
Hey, and guess what? He still is. He still is. He still is, baby.
He's still.
I was pumping him before the Austin show. That's what Gunther was listening to some Kanye West with us against his will. I was playing it. He had no say on it.
That's right. It's 2008. Mumford & Sons has just burst onto the scene. What else is happening in 2008? Barack Obama.
We watched him get inaugurated in class in the common room, and we're like, wow. So, like, racism is over and division is over. And we all just, like, agree to unite as a country, huh?
Like, wow, we're all in agreement. This is awesome.
We're in a utopia.
The Twilight, the movie just came out.
Brian and I are trying to lose our virginity. Lose our virginities.
I think both of us had maybe just lost our virginities.
Yep.
And while all that was happening,
yes.
And the financial crisis.
None of us knew who.
The housing market just went under.
The housing market. If you had said, Matt, pick Lewis Hamilton out of a lineup, I couldn't have done it.
Yeah, no.
I said
absolutely.
You could have shown me 10 faces and given me 900 guesses. I wouldn't have gotten it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have gotten it.
We're like, what the fuck is Formula One? Is that like what even is that?
Lewis Hamilton? That sounds like a auto-generated name.
That's right. But the year is 2008.
Felipe Massa? What is who? What? That's
you're like, that must be a soccer player, right? That must be Lewis Hamilton and Felipe Massa. They must play like on what? Like Chelsea? Like what?
Yeah,
Yeah. But no, the year is 2008. And Lewis Hamilton's just come off of his iconic rookie season where he lost out in the championship by 1 point while, fighting with his teammate and getting blackmailed by his teammate, Fernando Alonso. The year is 2008. Alonso is gone. McLaren has a good, not great car. All this is going on. Lewis Hamilton and Felipe Massa are in a title battle. In 2008, when we get to the Singapore Grand Prix. And in said Singapore Grand Prix, a little bit of some crazy stuff happens.
Flavio Briatore basically pulls a Brad Pitt in F1.
Yeah.
And crashes.
This is all above board. I saw fucking Sonny Hayes do this shit all over the movie.
I saw Sonny Hayes do this shit 12 times.
And you know what? At the point, at the way that this legal battle is going, I would not be surprised if the defense starts bringing up Sonny Hayes. That's the vibe of what's coming out of this fucking courtroom. So, if you don't know, Crashgate. Flavio Briatore tells Nelson Piquet Jr. to crash on purpose right after, I believe, Fernando Alonso had come in for a pit stop.
At a weird time.
He had fresh tires. Then this crash happens. Everyone dives into the pits, and Fernando Alonso gets track position in Singapore, which is key, and wins the race. Also, during this race, Felipe Massa, who was driving well, was in the pit stops. He was doing a refueling, as they used to do back in the day, and was told that he was good to go, drove off with the fuel attachment, the fuel hose still attached to his car.
Can I interject for 1 second?
Yes.
I did that once at a gas station. I drove off, ripped the thing right off, cost me $400. When my net worth was like $900, it was tough.
When it was
anyway, sorry.
Of your net worth. Felipe Massa drives off. He has to stop in the pit lane. The Ferrari guys are sprinting down the pit lane. You can find all this on YouTube. It is fucking iconic. These moments. The Ferrari pit crew classic has to run down the pit lane, unscrew the thing. Felipe Massa gets his race is totally ruined, totally compromised. And where was the final let's see, Crashgate, F1. I want to see like where everyone actually finished. Yeah, so Felipe Massa had started on pole in this race. Lewis Hamilton had started in second place. Then this whole Michigas happens, and Felipe Massa goes over this pit stop, and the chaos ensues within that. Then during this race, he winds up finishing because of this situation and moment. He winds up finishing in 13th place out of the points, whereas Lewis Hamilton finishes in third place, gaining him 6 points. This is back in the day where if you got first, you had 10. It was 10 to 8th place where you got 1. So first place got 10, second place got 8, third place got 6, then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 till you got to 8th place. So Fernando Alonso wins, but at the time, no one knows, they're like, that was weird and whatever, but no one really thinks anything of it. Fast forward a couple years later, Nelson Piquet Jr. is fired from Renault, and the breakup does not go well. And so he starts telling people what really went on back in that 2008 Singapore Grand Prix. Also, Lewis Hamilton would later win that championship by 1 point. That should be noted.
In heartbreaking fashion. In Brazil.
In Brazil. That's right. Where Felipe Massa
So Massa
Brazilian.
wins the race, I believe. He crosses the finish line.
Yes.
So Lewis has to finish like
fifth or sixth, yeah.
Fifth or sixth to have enough points to beat Massa.
Yes.
Right? You can find this on YouTube. It's literally, it's more devastating than $1 Million Baby. This that's a millennial ass reference. Talk about 2008. Anyway, so
well, we're in the mood. Yeah, so Lewis finishes fourth in this race because it was raining and Lewis on the right tires, and this guy Timo Glock.
Yes.
Timo motherfucking Glock. Sorry, Lewis winds up finishing fifth, passing Timo Glock, who's on the wrong tires on the final lap. They're celebrating in the Ferrari garage because they think that they've won both the constructors and the drivers' championship.
In Brazil, where Felipe Massa is from.
Yes.
So this guy wins the race. He thinks he's won the championship. Everybody's celebrating. The Ferrari guys are jumping up and down. You see Felipe Massa's family there. They're jumping up and down. And then all of a sudden, James Allen, who we've had on, is that Glock? Is that Glock? And then he's struggling. They shoot past him. All of a sudden, the Ferrari people look like they've turned into pillars of salt. And all of a sudden, Nicole Scherzinger, you see her because she's dating Hamilton. And all of a sudden, she's going ape shit. Yes. And then it's over. And then But Felipe Massa thought he was he won the race. He won his home race. And he thought he was world champion. He thought he was Senna again. He had become the new Senna. Right. And then all of a sudden, he lost by 1 fucking point.
And he thought he was the new Senna, and what makes it even worse than that is that like Brazil basically then adopts Lewis Hamilton. And Brazil loves Lewis Hamilton. Anyway, so this is obviously devastating. Felipe Massa thought he had the championship, thought it was ripped out of his hands. Then the next year, or maybe 2 years later, very soon after, Nelson Piquet Jr. gets fired from Renault. And he's like, you know what? I'm gonna spill the tea. I'm gonna spill all the tea about what actually happened at that 2008 Singapore Grand Prix. He says that he was instructed to do this. He was instructed to crash. They look back actually at one of his practice, I think his warm-up lap or one of his practice sessions.
He had practiced
and you see him practicing his spin out. You see him practicing his crash. The evidence is clear. But anyway, nothing really happens with it. People are like, that was fucked up, but it's too late. The championship's already been decided, X, Y, and Z. Then fast forward about fucking 2023. And Bernie Ecclestone is doing an interview at the age of 90-something. And he says, oh, well, when that crash happened, Max Mosley and I, who was, the head of the FIA at the time, we talked about it, and we wanted to protect the sport, and it was going to be too much of a hassle, so we didn't do anything. Which perks Felipe Massa's ears. He says, "Wait, hold up, you knew about this? The FIA was aware." As that girl on TikTok from years ago said, you knew. You knew. You fucking knew. Felipe Massa's like, you fucking knew, dude. I have a
Massa
pain.
fell in his womb lands.
In his womb lands. He said that this title was mine. I've known it all along, and you knew, you fucking knew. So,
Yeah, that's right.
2 years ago, Felipe Massa announces that he says, you know what? Actually, fuck this. I'm suing. I want my title back, or I want damages.
Yes.
For what I lost, because that race, if the FIA and Bernie Ecclestone knew that there was foul play at the Singapore Grand Prix in 2008, the race should have been nullified, should not have counted towards the World Championship, and had that not counted towards the World Championship, given the fact that Lewis got third and I had the shit with my fucking refueling hose, I would have won that championship. I would not have lost by 1 point. I would have won that championship with some breathing room. Which brings us to now, it's finally actually in court. This is finally happening. And we're getting our first kind of reports from the courtroom. So he is bringing an $82 million claim against Formula One management. The lawyers of Massa said that he performed poorly during the 2008 Grand Prix, ultimately losing him the championship. F1's lawyers have come out and responded, and they've said some wild shit. What they've said about Massa's claim is that Mr. Massa's claim is as torturous as it is overly ambitious. It may therefore come as no surprise that Mr. Massa's convoluted claim has stalled at various stages during this litigation, only to reverse repeatedly in the hope of discovering a new route forward. They also said that these declarations treat the court as a sports debating club, aka the Red Flags podcast, asking it to embark upon a counterfactual exercise concerning the refereeing of a sporting event which took place nearly 17 years ago. They might as well have said UNC status. And in effect, to deprive Mr. Hamilton of his 2008 title, even though he, meaning Hamilton, is not party to these proceedings, 2, was equally exposed to the crash, and 3, did not make the same driving errors as Mr. Massa during the 2008 Singapore Grand Prix. The sporting consequences of the crash were in any event resolved by the WMSC, but if the WMSC was not prepared to recognize Mr. Massa as the champion in 2009 after fully considering the matter, how can the court be expected to do that now? The court should not let a hopeless claim go to trial simply because Mr. Massa wants to rake up the distant past. So they're coming in hot.
Well, it kind of just depends on how you want to look at it. It depends on what's true. Well, if it's true, well, let's just assume that Bernie Ecclestone was telling the truth, which is that they knew, which is probably true.
Right.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah,
Yes.
because it looked fishy at the time.
Right.
It looked very fishy at the time. Everybody thought it looked fishy at the time. And it's very believable that Ecclestone would be like, well, we don't want to make a big deal out of this.
Right.
Because it's going to be a stain on the sport.
Right.
And literally they just had the Crashgate thing happen the year before. So they were like, fuck this.
I believe all that is true.
I believe all. And then what's really funny is they asked Ecclestone about it later, and he's like, I'm just an old man. What do we even...
Right.
Like, he just kind of
He's been like, what did I say? What did I say?
Did I say? Like, I am old.
I'm
an old man. What Felipe Massa's arguing is, according to his interpretation, they should have just thrown that race out.
Right.
In which case, yes, he's a champion.
Yes.
But another way to look at it is, they should have just disqualified Alonso.
Right.
Which might have been a smarter thing to do, and in which case Hamilton still wins the championship.
By a larger margin. He gets second place. Yeah.
So, well, no, I think he wins that race.
He would have gotten second.
Oh, okay, even better. But I guess it depends on like what you actually do in a situation like that, like what the rules actually are. But either way, it's like coulda, woulda, shoulda. You know how many relationships I still would have been in, or jobs I still would have had if I knew the things I know. It's just kind of, I do think I would give him damages.
Well, that's what he's asking for. He's not asking for the title to be stripped. What he's asking for is damages because in his mind, had he been Formula One champion, like an actual F1 champion, because he never actually, got there. He had the injury in the subsequent season or two where he got hit with a piece of debris, and he was kind of never the same after that. And that was kind of like at Ferrari, kind of the real shot for the championship was 2007, 2008. Obviously, Raikkonen got it in 07, and Massa missed out by 1 point in 2008. But it's interesting that they put that number on it. That's how valuable, at least they see, being an F1 champion is, like what it affords you, and the ability for yourself to be, marketed, speaking opportunities, endorsement deals, etc. And I can't help but actually think about this year's title battle between, Lando and Oscar, of kind of like, this guy 17 years later is like, if this had happened, like I would be so much richer than I am now. Do you know what I mean?
If Massa wins, it's a sliding doors thing, because if Massa wins in 2008, and he's the reigning champion, who gets the opportunity at Mercedes? And it really...
Right.
Ecclestone and Mosley didn't conspire to help Hamilton. They just conspired to help the sport. Right. And it shook out how it shook out. So it's not
also, I think that you're totally right about that. Like, as I'm looking at it, what would happen there is that Fernando Alonso would be disqualified, but they wouldn't throw out the entire race. If there's an illegal car, if someone runs the car too low, or if someone's like cheating in some way, they're using the fuel gauge. It's like during the Ferrari. If they caught Ferrari on that one occasion, do they throw out the entire race, or would they just? I guess the argument would be because of the crash, it kind of, affected everyone because everyone's races were compromised because he crashed on purpose, I guess. Yes. But even still, everyone else had to deal with the same shit sandwich.
Yes.
It's like that shit sandwich was to benefit one person and one person only, Fernando Alonso. It wasn't to benefit Lewis Hamilton, certainly. Do you think that Fernando Alonso said, "Hey, let's make this easier for Lewis"? I don't think so, babe. Like, I don't think that if anything, they would have done anything in their power to make things worse for Lewis Hamilton.
Everybody had to eat it. So
everyone had to eat the same shit sandwich. So to me, the real logic of how they would or should have maybe dealt with that is not to throw out the entire race results, which to me is kind of, that's the crux of, if you're going to get into a logistics argument with him about like what should have happened, that's the thing that to me should have happened, which makes this whole thing maybe a little bit null and void. But it is interesting that Formula One, I think they're coming in hot, they're coming in strong, because they're not wanting to set a precedent here. They're not wanting people to like come back and be like, if he wins this case and there's real money to be made from like righting the past's wrongs.
The truth is they do it all the time, though. That's the problem, is they do all kinds of shit like this probably to protect the sport. We see it all the time in the NBA, in the NFL. People pointed out with the Chiefs during the Taylor Swift, when she's coming to all the games, they were getting all kinds of calls, right? Right. It's like, it's better for the league if the Chiefs stick around, right?
Oh, sure. Right.
It's like the league does what's in its best interests, right? Yeah, Bernie Ecclestone and Max Mosley were like, okay, it's in the best interest of the league if F1, if we don't expose this. So yeah, they probably do shit like that all the time. This is just one instance that we heard about it, because Ecclestone was like, yeah, we did that shit. It's the same thing with 2021.
Well, exactly, which is what I was going to say, where it's just kind of like, and I think that's where Formula One maybe wants to shut this kind of thing down, because if Felipe Massa can come in and get a $50 million payday off of this, then
what can Lewis get for 2021?
What's to stop Lewis Hamilton from coming in and getting $1 billion? For real.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Damn, I'm a boss. I'm a red flag heavy hitter. I'm a man.